Okay. All right, I think we're good to go. My cursor has been messed up. I did an update with Mac and Ventura, and ever since it's been this weird. It gets kind of stuck in that cursor whenever I'm doing like resizing and such. But anyway, ignore that. Let's see. We need to I've got a working test. Things are looking good. I've got a single wallet can init multiple escrows. So far so good. I think it's now probably time we could start messing with the front end again. Now this is a absolute beast. One thing that I've learned doing these simple programs, and I've done a few, just learning, going through tutorials and stuff, and doing the anchor testing and stuff. So like writing the anchor program, and then doing the subsequent tests that follow, using anchor, the project serum package. Brings in, it's handy because you have access to the anchor workspace, which is really cool because then you get all the types from when you build an anchor program. You have all the types and the instructions and all that in the IDL. So I wanted to kind of take advantage of that, and what I found is there is a Solana Svelte scaffold, or SvelteKit scaffold UI, where so like Solana Labs, they themselves have kind of like some scaffold, but different, with React or other front ends. I am not, just like with the Solana stuff, I'm learning this stuff as well. React gets a little clunky. There's a lot to React, I think. So I've enjoyed messing around with Svelte and SvelteKit. That said, there are some community there are some community scaffolds. Let me see where specific to Solana. With SvelteKit. So that is what I am using here. I've imported and added this scaffold using SvelteKit, and what happens is it's got SvelteKit and Tailwind. Again, I am not a pro at any of these. I'm just trying to actually build something that would be challenging. I learn along the way. By no means do I assume that these are best practices, so I wouldn't follow follow my approaches directly, but hopefully some of this can be educational for you, as it is for me, just kind of going through it. But man, I have lots to learn. I'm not really good with components and such, but yeah, so you'll see there's gonna be a lot of it's a pure hack job, but I enjoy it. It's a fun challenge and learning a lot along the way, so hopefully you can too. So let me go ahead and connect. Oh yeah, I gotta hang on one second. Get my wallets connected again. That should. Okay. I think we're in business. Burner wallet. We're on local. Yeah. Here we go. Yep. So if I go over to Escrow right now, it's running. But there's lots to change. Let's go ahead and shut this down and just get my validator running. And then rebuild one last time. I forget where I left off at. Just make sure that we're not, we're starting fresh. And we have that going. We have our front end going. So yeah, it's a mess and I've got to clean this up. I mean, it barely works as is, just because I've added stuff and I'm using SvelteKit has, or just Svelte in general has stores. Super handy for me. I kind of helps me be able to make sense and track the state that's happening, you know, the state of the app. But the idea is that when the user comes in here, I can get rid of some of these things. I've added some steps along the way where, like, you know, create it. It's popping up more approves on, and I've got some token accounts, and then I've got creating some associated token accounts. I've got this where it's doing 4 approvals because I'm creating 4 associated token accounts, 1 for the buyer, 2 for the buyer, 2 for the seller. Currently, I've kind of hard coded the wallet addresses to point to my dev wallets. So that's that. So I've got these new mints, and when I mint tokens, so the next step is literally minting supply and transferring to my wallets. We've got some money now. And supply, these are some stats. Again, this is like me as I've been slowly adding and just trying to keep track of what's happening with all this. Now, currently, and I guess it's about that time, I can open up my app. What do I have? So I've got source and routes. I'm kind of building separate routes for all these different little applications, just so it's good practice for me. But Escrow, and I have the layout. So you know what? We're going to add this to a new tab, and I'm going to find routes, Escrow, index. Yeah, put that here. And so let me rotate. So here we are. So this is the layout. And so what I was trying to show you, yeah, there's this package called Svelte on Solana, and what it does is it does a lot for me. This package, wallet adapter, there's this Svelte on Solana kind of steps you through how to use wallet adapter. That's, you know, to connect all front ends. And then you choose the different wallets that you want to allow. So my app right now is just doing Phantom and Soulflare. But if you look, it also, what this package has done, what this library has done is has integrated, and I kind of get the gist of it. It's integrated. It's Anchor's provider and connection and all that stuff. So, you know, normally from in our testing environment with the Anchor package, we have access to the workspace. And I have a diagram around Anchor. Hang on. Anchor. There's kind of like a nice diagram I found that shows how Anchor Anchor works. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, so let me add it here. So what you have here is, so pink is Solana, blue is Anchor. If I zoom out, so typically you have your cluster, right, which right now is my local net, local host, and then all of that is encapsulated by a Solana collection. And then you have this wallet, and then the wallet is used by the provider, and then the Anchor build generates the IDL. So then the IDL and provider kind of combine, all roll up into program. And then there's another one, another image that I want to share around the workspace. Basically, what happens is like the Anchor workspace goes even further. And so it's just like a handy object that Anchor has done a lot of work for you. Anchor workspace Solana, like Anchor intro. Maybe there's an article. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. But basically, the workspace itself really gives you access to quite a lot of all this stuff. Is kind of tidied up nicely for you. So then your workspace combined with your wallet really allows you to do all the cool things that we did, like with the tests. So then you have access to the wallet, and you can sign transactions and all that stuff, and grab the the connection details and provider details and all that stuff. So again, this is kind of like a high level of what Anchor can do. I'll try to find the other, or at least send a link to it, but it gives you kind of a sense of what Anchor provides out of the box. So I really enjoyed working with Anchor to create the test, right? Like, where is it at? Like these tests that we're doing, this is all because Anchor provides a lot of this stuff and packages it up nicely combined with the IDL. Okay. But as soon as you get to the front end, then you have to like rebuild this whole thing again. Like you have to kind of build objects and stuff to make the connections to the, to get provider and the wallet, and with the wallet adapter, it gets a little tricky. And so this package has done a ton and for us. And what it's done in particular, it's used or created Svelte stores and components like this. This Anchor connection provider extends a Svelte component typed, which provides the provider slots and et cetera, so you get the events and slots and all these sorts of things. And anyway, it's kind of tied in nicely with all the stuff that we need. And then this workspace store, this is also something that they built. It's a writable store, and it has like base account, connection details, provider program details, yada yada yada. Really helpful. And then of course they've also integrated with the wallet adapter. They've also integrated a Svelte store specific for the wallet. So it's got a lot, and I have to admit I don't fully I couldn't come up with this from scratch on my own. But you're not really, it doesn't seem like maybe a lot more people could, but it kind of seems like the wallet adapter, this wallet adapter base package is pretty key. So like once you have that, then there's some other ones that like add in some wallet adapter UI components that are, I think by, most of them are like targeted toward React. But these people like Svelte, and so they went ahead and did the equivalent, but just use Svelte stores, which are really nice with some TypeScript interfaces and super, super handy. So yeah, the wallet store has connection, has all the stuff that we need to be able to sign transactions and stuff. So, and then there's, of course, this wallet adapter has a lot of fields around like connected, connecting, disconnecting, local storage key, yada, yada, yada. So it's really makes things easier on the front end. So I'm going to go back. So here's my layout. So in layout, this is my layout component to my escrow route here. And my understanding with SvelteKit or Svelte is that this layout component will go first before anything else. And so in order to use this anchor provider component, we have to provide a couple of properties, specifically the network and the IDL. So we get those, we can import the IDL, the JSON. Now, one thing I did know or learn about Anchor is like when you build, on the program side, when you build, it will put it in JSON, the IDL in JSON. There is a setting that allows that you can do that will Anchor when it builds. It will also make a copy into a TypeScript copy on your front end side, and you can kind of specify like where would you want to put that. So that's pretty helpful. I'm trying to see where I put that. Let me see if I find Anchor TOML. Is it in here? Yeah, so in the Anchor TOML file, you can, this workspace, you can kind of declare the workspace, so types equal, and then you put the directory of where you would like to put it. So I've got it in my app folder, app source IDL. And so what happens here is there's a bunch of TypeScript files that get generated. So if I look at the TypeScript version, it looks very similar to the JSON, but these are actual TypeScript types. Super nice, super handy. Could use those, but to if I go back, this Anchor provider component that has been built by the library, it's expecting an IDL prop, and when you get into the details, I can't point to the TypeScript. I have to, I guess it's still using or referencing the JSON IDL file, which it's not that big of a deal. It works. It's both the same, essentially. You just, one's JSON, one's TypeScript. So I basically target the IDL that's been generated specific for this program. And what's kind of neat about this actually is if I run and if I were to go to my validator and deploy all of my programs, so like the minting program, a voting program, a single vote program, a single poll, a PDAs, Escrow, like all these like little programs that I've built, because of the IDL, I can essentially just easily swap the value, the IDL, and the program that is, per program. And it works really well on the front end so far. Yeah, so it's kind of neat. I can have a single website front end running, but having multiple different Solana programs kind of available, I guess, from the front end, and I can leverage this Svelte on Solana package and how it integrates nicely with the built IDL and kind of quickly swap around. So that's just a quick little background of like how I've been using this, and it's been so far pretty good. And with it, they give you some stores, like a very basic balance store, to kind of get a sense of it. So in my layout, so we specify the network. I've got some constants. This is all local for now. But in the layout, this all relates. A little bit of a tangent, but it's related. So I've minted and done all these like associated tokens, and I've accounts, and I've minted supply to my wallets. This is just replicating what my test does. In my test, I'm doing these things. I have to do these things before I can start actually trying to, create and initialize the escrow. So now that I've added this custom program, I really need to have I need to generate the custom program first and foremost before I can do any of this create token things. Because we can't initialize escrows now without having that seed from the custom program total escrow count. That's how it's designed. But typically, before I added that, I would have to disconnect. And then on this layout, remember this runs first. And what I'm using here is this get parsed token account or token accounts by owner. So this is basically in the layout component. This is where I do a quick little fetch of all the tokens in the connected wallet. So I had to connect first, create these things, but I can't get the tokens yet. I need to make that reactive. But anyway, just kind of showing you what's happening here. This function is like if I don't have the wallet is not connected or the workspace itself is not available, then we just get out of here. Otherwise, we continue and we loop through all the accounts that we get. This connection, this helpful get parsed token accounts by owner, this literally will come back with an array of this kind of structure where these objects have the public key, which is the pub key for the associated token account in the wallet, and then you have the account data details. Super helpful. And then you have to pass in like the wallet, like who's the owner and such. Yeah. So, and then the ID. So that will do it, and you get the accounts and you parse through them. And what I am doing here is I have a wallet store or wallet token account store, and it's pretty basic. It's basically mirroring what the accounts would look like, but it will take all these and just dump them in there. So what I could do is rerun at some later point, run this function and do like an update to the store or something like that. But anyway, it kind of works. So when here's the function, and I've got some reactives. I've lots of testing here that over time I've learned that okay, is the workspace program ready? Am I pointing to the correct workspace IDL, like program ID and such? So is it ready? Does it have the right? Is a program there? And if there's a program there, is the ID match my this existing program ID? Because again, I'm changing, my routes will sometimes point and access a completely different anchor program, and that works well so far. And then I have another check on the wallet, is the wallet ready, really ready? not just connected and stuff. But I've gone through some testing and realized that like not just connected, but connecting is, you know, no longer true, and there's a disconnecting, and you know, once I meet those criteria, then we're good to go. And then using Svelte reactive statement, our little conditional here, if both of those things are good, all right, in this layout component, let's fetch the token accounts and also get the user's SOL balance from the balance store. Okay, now collecting, getting a wallet's SOL token balance, you have to use a different function. It doesn't, this SOL token does not come back from the get parsed tokens, you know, by owner, that method. This instead uses the, like just the get balance. You pass in the wallet pub key. So anyway, yeah. So that's what's happening on the layout. So now that I've disconnected, if I reconnect, it should pop up. Yeah, it's reading. It's done this get parse token accounts by owner, and it's updated my wallet, this wallet token accounts store. And that is what we see down here. I was trying to build, I've had all kinds of versions and iterations of UI, but I'm trying to build like a chance here, like you kind of go to like a swap, you know, like you're trying to swap one token and an amount for something else. This is not complete by any means. But what's nice is that it's reading my Solana balance, you know, and I ideally I would have like a drop down here with all, so these are all the token accounts. No, these are all the mint addresses in my connected wallet. So one is SOL and the other two are these two, you know, tokens that I've just created up here. So Xmint and Ymint or whatever. You can see their mint addresses are right here, 65Q and then 3F. I just splice and just display the first four, a few characters of them. But if I toggle around, as soon as I select it, tells me like how much I've got, the full mint address. You know, I don't have any of this one, but I've got 3 of this one. Now this is the, you know, and normally what I would do is like, okay, I want to, you know, I'll exchange like 1.2, you know, 1.2 of that. And let me see, let me get the console actually. Running out of room here. Ah, there it is. Just looking for this. All kinds of goodies. Oh, maybe I'm not running this yet. I thought it was running. Oh, no. I never did. So cd app. And now I can do, yeah, npm run dev. Sorry. All right. And surprised that was working. Being able to like, so my validator is still running. So like the fact that I've got tokens and stuff, those are all there. I didn't restart the validator. So that's what's happening here is like it's still picking up. So those token accounts exist, but you can see where when I disconnect and reconnect, I lose all this UI, this stuff. I got all kinds of stuff to work with. But this is, again, is just kind of helping me develop it. But I have some printouts here, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of some of these screens until we really need them. So let's do, this is index. I'm going to get rid of that. And we can get rid of that. Yeah, so I'm going to do routes, escrow, index, and we'll put that separately. Okay, so now we have a couple, and you know what, I'm going to just quit these. Yeah. It's a little easier. And rather than that, I'm going to do I'll pull up the test again, just so we have this. So, yeah, what I would do is, like, I have 1.3, and what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to exchange 1.2. Well, and I'm updating and currently storing this stuff into what I call the seller store. And I've got lots. Yeah, so seller store right here, it's a mess too, because I've been adding and removing. But what we'll see is, like, from the seller's point of view, it has a out token ATA, associated token account, for this particular token. The amount is just 1.2. My balance is 3, but this mint token has 8 decimals, meaning they're literally, so for one of this particular mint to equal a whole unit, it has 8 decimal places. So 8 zeros. So that is important. And the reason why that's important is because I discovered when I was doing this, and I started wanting to work with decimal values versus, like, let's transfer 5 tokens for 10, whole numbers. That's easy, because our program to create an escrow, we actually pass in the amounts, right? The amount of one token for another token. But those actually need to be in type big number, and big number does not support decimals. So, kind of a pain in the butt. So in order to do the conversion, I need to make sure that I understand that I know the token's decimals. So then I can take this value, these UI values, the ones that are a little easier for us to read without all those decimal places, and do kind of a raw amount. So I've added some, you'll see, like 1.2 here, it actually is 1.2 in a raw amount, and my balance also in the raw amount balance, if that makes sense. So, yeah, and now, like, I want the seller, we have this mint, but I want to get the other mint that I want is this 3F right here. I know this is hacky. I want to get this mint because I don't have any. So I'm going back over here, seller store. It's been wiped out. I had 1.2. Now it's null. Let's do 1.2 again. Okay. So now my seller store should show all that, and my the in token mint is now this. So this is the token that I'm trying to get, and I specify here, like, how many do I want. Let's say that I want, well, when I mint all these, I only minted 3 of each token to my wallet, so I need to do something less than that. Let's just say I want like 0.4 of this token. So this is kind of like the UI, essentially, of what I was thinking about. And so now if we look at, there's no escrow created, so it's empty. There's no buyer stuff really at this point. But my seller store at this is like, okay, yeah, the in token amount is this. In token raw amount and balance, like, I could check, like, how much do I already have of this particular token, if anything. Now that I do have the decimals, I could, check that. Anyway, it's a work in progress. This stuff is all messed up, but I hit initialize escrow, and now custom program not provided. So all of this is to basically kind of update and kind of, this is where we're at. You know, previously, before I added this custom program account to enable multiple escrows by wallet, I could hit initialize escrow and that would work. And then I could also, what would then display is the escrow data. So escrow store, it's my Svelte store and the buyer store, like all this stuff would be displayed. I'd have to swap out my wallet to my other one and it would show, sure enough, the tokens are there. And then I could accept the trade. So that's where we're at. And so the next step after all of that, and there's a lot of detail, but just kind of catching people up and also talking through it for myself. That's where we're at. So the next thing, really my plan is I want to gut all this front end. I need to remove a lot of this front end because only I can make sense of it at this point, and a lot of it's broken because I've just been iterating on it. So my next step is to really just gut the interface, the front end, maybe have some of these buttons still doing a lot of the same things, but want to simplify it and have it display things a little bit easier. But so the first thing I need to do is add a custom program. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take note in my index component. I don't know. This is me. I don't work on any teams. It's just myself. And no, this is not best practice at all. But I started this whole work in progress, add a token select menu rather than hard coding. Like that was the whole point. Originally, I was just hard coding these, like one token for another. But I want to make it more flexible. I want it to be able to read and exchange any type of tokens and for any amounts. So this goes much more beyond the starter code from this little, tutorial. And I've learned a lot. So I'm trying to really make this useful. But let's see. I have fixed. May need to create helper function to calculate limit. I think I'm not done with that yet. Update. The display is still in process, but I'm going to add. It's still very much related to this whole token select menu, which is this idea where I can it reads the tokens in the wallet. What I need to do next is clean up UI now that custom program is available. Let's see. Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, really. So I think that's my this is kind of like a key to do. And we're going to do that now. I'm going to save this. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. It's time to start hacking away.